Have you ever wondered why some people work harder and harder every day, but never seem to get ahead, while others, who might not work as hard, keep growing richer, freer, and more successful? In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki shares the life lessons he learned from his two fathers, his real father, the poor dad, and his best friend's father, the rich dad. Both men were smart, hardworking, and kind, but their mindsets about money were completely opposite. And those differences made all the difference. This is the story of what Robert learned. 8 powerful lessons that can change how you think about work, money, and success forever. Lesson number 1. Working to earn versus working to learn. Most people spend their lives working for money. They get up, go to work, get paid, and repeat. Their main goal is the next paycheck. That was the mindset of Robert's poor dad. He believed in the traditional path. Go to school, get good grades, find a safe job, and climb the ladder. But Rich Dad said something different. Don't work for money. Work to learn. He taught that money is temporary, skills are permanent. When you focus only on earning, your growth stops when the paycheck stops. But when you focus on learning, you build assets inside yourself that pay you for life. Accounting, investing, communication, leadership. These are the real currencies of wealth. Instead of asking, how much will I earn? Ask, what will I learn here that will make me more valuable tomorrow? That shift in mindset, from earning to learning, is where true success begins. Lesson number 2, the power of financial education. We all go to school to learn how to read, write, and solve math problems. But how many of us were ever taught how to make money work for us? Robert's poor dad had degrees, promotions, and respect, yet he always struggled financially. Rich Dad, who never finished high school, said, "The most important subject in life is money, yet it's the one subject not taught in school. Financial education is not about how much you make. It's about how you manage, invest, and multiply what you earn. You could be a doctor, an engineer, or a programmer, but if you don't understand cash flow, taxes, and investing, you'll always work for someone who does." That's why Rich Dad believed that financial literacy, communication, and marketing matter more than technical skills alone. The rich learn by doing. They take risks, make mistakes, and grow from real-world experience, not from classrooms, because academic skills may earn you a living. But financial education builds a life of freedom. Lesson number 3, the trap of job security. Every morning, millions of people wake up and go to jobs they don't love, all for the promise of security, a steady paycheck, health benefits, a safe future. But Rich Dad warned, job security is a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Most employees trade time for money, hoping a paycheck will protect them. But the moment that paycheck stops, their world collapses, because they never built anything beyond their job. Fear of change keeps people stuck. They're afraid to try something new, to fail, or to lose stability, and that fear keeps them poor. Robert learned that the real goal isn't job security, it's skill security. He worked in sales to learn communication, in the Marines to learn leadership, and in business to learn systems. Each experience made him stronger and freer. True security doesn't come from a paycheck. It comes from confidence, skills, and financial education. Playing it safe might protect you today, but taking risks and growing is what secures your tomorrow. Lesson number 4. Learn every part of the business. Rich Dad once said, "If you want to be rich, know a little about everything." Most people become specialists, experts at one thing, but blind to the rest of how money flows. Rich Dad taught Robert to learn every part of business: sales, management, accounting, investing, and negotiation. When you understand every part of a business, you stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. That's when wealth truly begins to grow. Lesson number 5. The value of mistakes and experience. From childhood, we're taught to avoid failure. But Rich Dad said, the more mistakes you make, the smarter you become, as long as you learn from them. Robert's poor dad saw failure as shame. Rich Dad saw it as feedback. Most people are so afraid of making mistakes that they never take action, and that's why they never grow. But the rich understand that failure inspires winners and defeats losers. Robert lost money in bad deals and failed in business ventures, but each experience taught him something schools never could. He learned how money moves, how people think, and how success is built through persistence. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's the foundation of it. Every mistake brings you closer to wisdom. The rich don't avoid failure. They use it. They turn every loss into a lesson, and every setback into a step forward. Lesson number 6. The power of communication and people skills. Rich Dad taught that the most valuable skills in the world aren't technical. They're human. He said, speaking, writing, and selling, these are high-income skills. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you can't communicate it, it's worthless. Money flows to people who know how to influence others. The poor fear rejection. They hide from selling, networking, and promoting themselves. But the rich see rejection as practice. Every no brings them closer to a yes. Rich Dad told Robert, if you want to be rich, you must learn to handle your emotions as well as your money. That's emotional intelligence, understanding people, not just numbers. The rich build relationships and networks of trust while others stay stuck in isolation. Robert learned this when he worked in sales. He wasn't born confident. He built confidence by facing rejection again and again. Communication is more than talking. It's the ability to move hearts and minds. And that's what separates leaders from workers and creators from followers. Lesson number 7. Turning learning into earning rich. Dad always said, knowledge only becomes powerful when you use it. Learning alone doesn't make you rich. Applying what you learn does. Robert's poor dad believed education ended with a diploma. Rich Dad believed it began when you started using what you knew to create value. For example, learning marketing is great, but using it to build a business is where the real magic happens. It's not what you know. It's what you do with what you know. Robert learned that every new skill adds a stream to your financial river. Sales, marketing, investing, leadership, they all multiply your earning potential when applied together. Success doesn't come from waiting for perfect conditions. It comes from taking imperfect action, learning and improving. Learning is the seed, earning is the fruit. Only those who plant and grow their knowledge see the harvest. Lesson number 8. Rich Dad's ultimate lesson. Work for yourself by learning everything. And finally, Rich Dad's ultimate lesson, don't depend on one source of income. Work for yourself by learning everything you can. Robert's poor dad believed in one paycheck. But Rich Dad believed in building many streams of income through business, real estate, and investments, he told Robert. The moment you depend on one income, you give up control of your future. Freedom comes when you create money, not just earn it. When you build assets that generate income, even while you sleep. Learning every part of the business gives you the power to build those streams. Sales, marketing, management, investing, communication. Each one adds another stream to your river of wealth. Working for yourself isn't about quitting your job overnight. It's about taking control of your growth, experimenting and building something of your own, because depending on one paycheck is risky. But depending on your skills, creativity, and education, that's real security. Rich Dad said, the more you learn, the more you earn, and the freer you become. And that's the ultimate truth. So, what's the real difference between Rich Dad and Poor Dad? It's not luck! It's not intelligence. It's the mindset. Poor Dad worked for money. Rich Dad made money working for him. Poor Dad chased comfort. Rich Dad chased growth. Poor Dad feared mistakes. Rich Dad learned from them, and now, you can choose which one to be. Don't just earn, learn. Don't just work, grow. And don't just dream, build. Because the path to freedom begins with one simple decision: work to learn. Not just to earn, that's the legacy of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that's how you change your financial future forever.